energetic sovereignty, sacred boundaries, and relational prosperity. Or quantum opening creation breathes through the center of your being as a silent engine of radiance. Every choice etches geometry in the field. Every yes and every no sculpts the architecture of destiny. Your energy is a temple. Your boundaries are its living walls. Love circulates more freely where the temple stands clear. Section 1. Deep gaze. Into the soul's cartography. Energy moves like water seeking an honest riverbed. When the riverbed is strong, the waters sing. When the banks collapse, the waters flood, and memory drowns. Energetic sovereignty arises as the art of shaping this river, with conscious embankments made of values, presence, and compassionate discernment. Within this landscape, archetypes walk as teachers. The sovereign carries a crown of lucid responsibility. The guardian holds a staff of vigilant clarity. The healer weaves threads of repair. The lover opens the gates of devotion without abandoning the throne. When these forces harmonize, relationships evolve from extraction to exchange, from projection to presence, from dependence to interbeing. The soul travels through seasons. Some seasons ask for a firm no to preserve the seed. Other seasons welcome the yes that fertilizes the field. Energetic sovereignty does not harden the heart. It calibrates the gates so that giving becomes regenerative and receiving becomes reverent. This is the choreography of dignity. This is the geometry of kindness with a backbone. Every boundary is a living prayer. It says I am here, whole, available, and responsible for my light. It says I grant access in ways that honor reciprocity. It says I choose connection without abandoning myself. The body hears this prayer and relaxes. The nervous system recognizes safe architecture and begins to pulse with creative rhythm. From that pulse, relational prosperity emerges as a natural harvest rather than a negotiated debt. Section 2. Scientific and Psychological Foundations. Humanistic psychology celebrates authenticity and unconditional worth. From this ground, boundaries become expressions of self-acceptance rather than fear. Needs are acknowledged, values are communicated, agency is welcomed. The person ceases to bargain for love with self-abandonment and begins to relate from congruence. Transpersonal psychology expands the frame. Identity is not limited to the personality. There is a witnessing consciousness capable of observing patterns, healing attachments, and aligning with a trans-egoic call. In this expanded awareness, sovereignty is not isolation. It is stewardship of life force in service of a larger coherence. Neurobiologically, clarity reduces threat signals. When expectations are explicit, the amygdala quiets and the prefrontal cortex orchestrates with more nuance. Mirror neurons receive consistent feedback. Oxytocin and trust grow. The social nervous system learns that limit equals safety rather than punishment. The result is connection that breathes without constriction. In practice, this looks like naming capacities and limits early, practicing regulated pauses before responses, and designing relational agreements that match reality rather than fantasy. For example, a creator sets office hours to protect creative flow. A caregiver schedules recovery time to prevent compassion fatigue. A leader creates channels for feedback that safeguard dignity. Each of these is a boundary, as a benevolent technology. Karaz, Section 3. Biodecoding applied. When the body speaks, unresolved emotions search for the body's alphabet. The throat tightens when words remain unspoken. The jaw locks when no is swallowed. The shoulders carry the weight of hidden obligations. The gut contracts when inner truth is ignored. Skin eruptions mirror boundary breaches, declaring I need a membrane that breathes. The lower back signals load without support. The heart rhythm flutters under the pressure of inconsistent bonds. Biodecoding invites symbolic listening. The symptom points toward the scene that needs renegotiation. The body asks for a new contract with life. The task is not to fight the symptom, but to decode the message and transmute the agreement that produced it. A path of liberation unfolds in phases. 1. Recognition. Name the pattern as a contract signed under duress, naivety, or loyalty. For example, the contract might say I must always be available to be loved. 2. Reconciliation. Thank the pattern for its intention to protect. Offer it a new role. For example, availability becomes presence with pacing, not self-erasure. 3. Renegotiation. Write an embodied clause that the nervous system can trust. For example, when my chest tightens, I pause, breathe, and answer later. My number is a bridge, not a wall. 4. Rehearsal. Practice the clause in safe micro-situations until the body believes the new melody. Repetition rewires associations. 5. Release. Ritualize the old contract's completion with breath, movement, sound, or symbolic acts. The limbic system learns that closure is allowed. Symptoms soften as the ecosystem stabilizes. Boundaries become a circulatory system. Energy returns to creative projects, loving bonds, and lucid service. Section 4. Quantum NLP Tools for Repatterning Language and Imagery. Choreograph neural firing. With intention, words and pictures become instruments of neuroplastic change. The following toolkit blends NLP precision with contemplative depth. 4.1. The Sovereign Stance. Anchoring. Goal. Store a felt sense of calm authority and recall it before conversations. Steps. 1. Stand with feet hip width. Soften knees. Lift crown as if a thin thread holds it. 2. Breathe into the belly for 4 counts. Exhale for 6. Keep a slow rhythm. 3. Remember a moment of dignified clarity. Intensify color, depth, and detail. 4. Bring a gentle smile to the sternum area. Sense warmth spreading across the ribs. 5. Create an anchor by touching thumb and middle finger. Whisper internally, sovereign, and feel the posture crystallize. 6. Repeat the sequence 3 times, each repetition stronger than the last. 7. Test the anchor by recalling a mild boundary scene. Fire the anchor. Observe stability. Ura. 4.2. Boundary language upgrade. Goal. Replace self-abandoning scripts with generative phrasing. Old script. I am sorry for asking. I can do it all. My needs are not urgent. Quantum script. Thank you for thinking of me. I honor my current capacity. Here is what I can offer. Here is what I cannot offer. Here is when I can revisit this. Protocol. 1. Write 3 recurring scenarios. 2. Draft 1 quantum script for each. 3. Record your voice reading the script slowly. 4. Listen daily while in a relaxed state to pair the language with parasympathetic tone. Must do item 4.3. Values to boundaries mapping. Goal. Turn abstract values into actionable gates. Process. 1. List the top 5 embodied values, such as creativity, integrity, intimacy, service, rest. 2. For each value, write 1 behavior that protects it and 1 behavior that erodes it. 3. Translate these into boundaries. Creativity protected by morning deep work block with notifications off. Integrity protected by clear timelines with renegotiation if capacity changes. Intimacy protected by tech-free dinners twice a week. Service protected by paid channels distinct from pro bono offerings. Rest protected by Sunday non-negotiable restorative practices. 4. Post the map visible in your workspace. Review weekly. Nawadawar. 4.4. The relational swish. Goal. Shift from people-pleasing impulse to dignified responsiveness. Steps. 1. Notice the micro-cue that precedes automatic yes, such as chest pressure or rushing speech. 2. Vividly imagine the old scene for 1 breath, then shrink it to a tiny grayscale image. 3. Swish in a radiant image of you pausing, breathing, and answering with clarity while shoulders drop and spine elongates. 4. Mentally move the radiant image fast from the background to the foreground. Pair it with the sovereign anchor. 5. Repeat 5 times. Seal with a slow exhale. 6. Practice live with low-stakes requests to consolidate the pathway. 4.5. Future pacing agreements. Goal. Install defaults that reduce friction. Template. In collaborations, I work in focused windows and reply within 1 business day. Urgent items move through a flagged channel. Requests outside scope are acknowledged and scheduled after a capacity review. Read the template aloud. Visualize 3 upcoming contexts. See yourself enacting each clause. Feel the congruence in your body. Section 5. Spiritual perspective and Christic consciousness. The heart of Christic consciousness radiates unconditioned inclusion without erasing discernment. Boundaries become sacraments that honor the divine in all beings, including the self. Love without clarity dilutes. Clarity without love freezes. Love with clarity becomes a river of warm light within a crystalline channel. The Buddhist view of emptiness frees identity from rigid form. Boundaries are not heavy walls. They are functional shapes arising in interdependence. They are forms that serve emptiness, outlines that allow the canvas to receive the painting. Through psychomagic, symbolic acts converse with the unconscious, translating insight into ritual so that matter remembers the vow. Energetic sovereignty integrates heaven and earth. The crown opens to guidance, the feet ground into reality, the voice speaks truth with music, the hands work with devotion, the pelvis roots creative fire without leaking life force. The aura becomes a well-tuned instrument. Resonance attracts resonance. Prosperity emerges as ecology, not extraction. Relational prosperity flows where presence circulates. Reciprocity becomes a living exchange. Praise and feedback move along honest channels. Shared projects unfold with coherent timelines. Communities thrive when the membrane is intact. In such spaces, giving feels like breathing out and receiving feels like breathing in. The Yaos. Section 6. Integrative Ritual, the Temple of Yes and No. Duration. 18 to 27 minutes. Frequency. Daily for 21 days. Preparation. Create a simple altar with a candle, a bowl of water, and a small stone. Light the candle. Place the stone to the left as the guardian of number. Place the water to the right as the guardian of yes. Stand facing the altar. Phase 1. Grounding. Breathe into the soles of your feet. Imagine roots descending 3 arm lengths into the earth. Soften the jaw. Lengthen the exhale. Phase 2. Crown alignment. Sense a column of light above the head connecting to vast clarity. Allow the spine to receive this thread. Feel length without tension. Phase 3. Heart calibration. Place the right hand on the sternum. Whisper internally, I welcome dignified love. Imagine a rose gold sphere expanding and contracting with each breath. Phase 4. The 2 guardians. Touch the stone. Feel the texture. Let the body recall the memory of wise refusal. Speak out loud 1 sentence of no that you need this week. Return the stone to its place. Touch the bowl of water. Feel coolness. Speak out loud 1 sentence of yes that feeds your life. Phase 5. The bridge. Lift both hands, one hovering over the stone, one over the water. Sense a bridge forming between them in the space of the heart. Allow breath to travel from left hand to right hand and back. Feel the nervous system memorizing choice without panic. Phase 6. Sealing gesture. Bring thumb and middle finger together to lock the sovereign anchor. Bow slightly to the altar. Extinguish the candle with a slow breath, sealing the ritual in the body. Optional psychomagic completion. Write the old contract on a small paper, fold it 3 times, tap it gently on the heart, place it under the stone for 3 nights, then burn it safely and scatter the cool ashes at the base of a tree. What are practical applications for work, love, and community? Work. Define 3 energy protective blocks per week for deep creation. Place a visible boundary map near your desk. Auto-reply templates clarify response times. Pricing reflects not only skill, but also energetic stewardship. Love. Schedule tech-free intimacy windows. Use body-first check-ins before sensitive conversations. Speak limits as invitations to sustainable closeness. Celebrate repairs with gratitude rituals. Community. Establish agreements around time, contribution, and feedback channels. Rotate roles to prevent energetic imbalance. Name conflict protocols that protect dignity. Mark milestones with collective rites of acknowledgement. No one did it. Micro exercises for daily recalibration. 1. Nervous system. Sipu. 3 times per day. Exhale longer than you inhale for 6 cycles. Whisper internally. Soft spine, strong core, open heart. 2. Boundary breath. Inhale through the nose 4 counts. Hold 2. Exhale through the mouth 6. On the exhale, picture a translucent membrane shining around your body. 3. Somatic yes, no. Ask the body to show a yes with a micro sway and a no with a micro stabilization. Rehearse the sensations while neutral. Use them to inform decisions. 4. Value check pulse. Before a commitment, place palm on chest and say creativity, integrity, intimacy, service, rest. Notice which value lights up or dims. Decide accordingly. Mythic reframe, the golden gate and the sapphire door. Visualize your life as a sanctuary with 2 gates. The golden gate opens to opportunities aligned with purpose. The sapphire door protects silence, study, and repair. Each visitor and project is received at the threshold. Permission flows where respect dwells. Declining becomes an act of blessing that redirects misaligned currents to their proper shores. Within this sanctuary, prosperity is relational harmony made visible as shared success, honest collaborations, delight in giving and receiving, and time that regrows after every yes and no. The temple glows, the river sings, the field bears fruit without depletion. Tereses, boundary scripts for common moments. When asked for free work outside your pro bono channel, I value this connection and my current commitments. I can offer a paid path with clear scope, or I can revisit potential collaboration in the next review window. When invited to an event that collides with recovery time, thank you for thinking of me. I protect the restoration block that keeps my service luminous. I will cheer from afar and connect after my recharge. When a conversation turns invasive, I care about this bond and I choose to keep certain details private. I remain available for topics that nourish us both. When scope expands without consent, I notice the project growing beyond our agreement. I welcome discussing an updated scope, timeline, and compensation so that quality remains strong. Guadendia, repair after a boundary. Misses happen, repair builds trust. A concise protocol restores coherence. 1. Acknowledge. I see that I overstepped, or I see that I overextended. 2. Own. Here is the impact I imagine it had. 3. Align. Here is the boundary I am restoring. 4. Offer. Here is one step to make this right or to prevent recurrence. 5. Integrate. Document the learning in your values to boundaries map. The nervous system learns that boundaries are living relationships rather than punishments. Safety increases on all sides. Dryness, emptiness, form, and the pulse of prosperity. Emptiness births form as the ocean births waves. Boundaries shape the wave without denying the ocean. In this understanding, generosity becomes precision. Service becomes joyful because it respects rhythm. Money becomes a messenger of circulation rather than a proof of worth. Time becomes a garden tended by clarity. Community becomes a constellation of sovereign stars dancing in shared sky. Affirmations to rewire the field. I am a clear channel with compassionate edges. My yes grows gardens. My no protects springs. I give without leaking. I receive without hoarding. My voice carries kindness with structure. I build agreements that honor reality and wonder. I lead with presence and pace with wisdom. I am safe to be powerful and tender. I walk with a crown of light and humble feet. Repeat these lines during slow walks, after meditation, or before pivotal conversations. The words tune the fascia of attention. The music of your field changes. Life hears the new song and responds. Long arc vision. From the seasons of sovereignty, a decade unfolds with increasing coherence. Projects mature and collaborations stabilize. Friends and partners trust your yes and your no. Younger versions of you receive the safety they needed. Ancestors feel honored by your clarity. Descendants feel relieved by your clean rivers. The temple endures because it breathes. Tapos, high vibration closing. Master axiom. Clarity is love made architectural. Quantum challenge. Next 24 hours. Choose one boundary that would create the greatest relief. Communicate it in one concise message. Anchor it with the sovereign stance. Celebrate the act with a simple ritual of breath and gratitude. Activation code. Shine sovereign, flow gentle, membrane of light, gate of grace, Con amor, Andrew.